Before we keep getting further into SEC land, Bud, I want to ask you, do you think that what we saw from Oregon was just the pressure of the moment, the pressure of the 8th game, the pressure of the situation and the scenario? Or is there any larger Oregon takeaway? Because there's a moment, like there is maybe a 20-minute time, whereas I'm sort of trying to put together tonight's show, we're like, Oregon might lose this.
Yeah.
Like there was a real threat that Oregon was going to lose this game. So
there was a moment where Oregon became main screen and Tennessee, Georgia became second screen. It was about 10 minutes long, but there was that moment. In watching this, like I'm charting like success rate live, and I'm like, all right, Wisconsin's success rate sucks. Like what they're doing is probably not super sustainable, at least on offense. Defensively, though, they kind of just said, hey, we're not going to allow the ball over the top. We're going to tackle everything underneath. We're going to try to be really physical and play blocks well. And I thought they came out, and I thought their defense had more juice. Like, that's great analysis, Bud. But, like, sometimes that's just it, right? You play with more fire early on. Like, that game early on, it felt like it meant more to Wisconsin. Backs against the wall, at home, at night, than it did to Oregon. And they were a little more physical than Oregon was. And they were a little sharper. And they felt like they had a nice read on what Oregon was doing. They were not allowing the balls over the top. They were denying the explosive play. And if you're going to do that, you also have to tackle really well. Otherwise, those shorts become explosives themselves. And I thought they tackled extremely well for, a lot of this game. And then they go on that super long drive to open the half. Okay. Cool. It's like, oh, wow. Maybe. And then Oregon has hit a switch. They're like, hey, you remember like how every team with a pulse has pushed you guys around like crazy this year? We found our pulse. So let's go.
Here's Jordan James.
And basically, from there on out, they just pushed Wisconsin around, which isn't weird because every team that is not like that super banged up Rutgers team, Northwestern, and whoever else Iowa ran for like 340 on this Wisconsin defense. So credit to them for having a good plan. I think they're very outgunned here and deserve a lot of credit for playing well. No team in college football this year is immune from playing poorly at times. And Oregon, they looked a little sluggish. So maybe there is something to the whole, eighth game in a row theory.
Wisconsin had a plan. They executed it well. You mentioned it, Bud. They kept things in front of them, and they did a great job tackling. They also did a great job just not giving up big plays in the run game as well. Like defensively, they weren't getting out of their gaps. They were forcing James to the outside and funneling him to linebackers, and they were making tackles. In the passing game, they were dropping back, keeping everything in front of them. Oregon had 5 red zone possessions and scored 13 points. They played red zone roulette, and they won. They forced the one turnover on the Dylan Gabriel interception, which got tipped and picked off. Then, of course, there was going for it on the 4th down and the field goal attempt and coming up short. But they held Oregon to field goals in the red zone, and that's the only reason this game was close. Because Wisconsin's offense didn't do anything in this game. They had their touchdown drive. Yes, they had the 9-play, 75-yarder late in the first half. But other than that, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 5 plays. The touchdown drive, a field goal drive, 3 and out, 3 and out, 4 plays, 2 plays. Wisconsin finished with 226 yards, averaged 3.6 yards per play, and Braden Locke was 12 of 28 for 96 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Chip, that's why I told you were crazy for taking the Wisconsin team total over, because every time this team has played a good defense this season, the offense has mustered nothing. And they didn't muster anything in this game. Their defense did a fantastic job of giving them a chance to win the game. The offense couldn't follow their part. Pretty much all it was.
I'd take it again.
If I'm the defense, hell yes.
No. I would take the team total over again.
Oh. Okay.
Goofy meme. And I'll effing do it again. No, and obviously, as somebody who is watching this game with the interest of trying to get Wisconsin over 17.5 points, Tyree Walker would rip off 1 first down run. You'd be like, okay, more of that. And there wasn't more of that. You'd have an easy throw for Braden Locke because, damn it, that's the only completion Braden Locke's going to get on a comeback route. But then all of a sudden, Tyree Walker gets stuffed, and then you've got to go down the field, make a contested throw, contested catch. Wisconsin's not going to win that against Oregon anyway. Like Oregon's secondary, I think Kobe Savage came over from Kansas State 2 years ago. Jabbar Muhammad came over from Washington last year. We talk a lot, or I don't want to speak for you guys, but I know that I go on CBS Sports HQ, CBS Sports Network, and sometimes you've got to compact that take for television into just something simple. And I use this phrase. I say, Dan Lanning has mastered modern era roster and construction. He recruits at a high level out of high school, and he also identifies good talent out of the transfer portal. And I just use it a lot. But I promise you the substance behind that is players like Kobe Savage, Jabbar Muhammad, like going to get Derek Harmon on the defensive line. This Oregon defense has a lot of those portal guys that have been huge for making Oregon the #1 team in the country, for making Oregon the only damn team in the country with an 11-0 record on November 16th. And so that's why I know it sounds like I'm just another national media guy who loves Dan Lanning, but I do think that mix of like homegrown, we got you out of high school, and also the right fit out of the portal is a huge part of Oregon's success this year.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so longer term takeaways for Oregon after this game. I do think teams are just going to try to like play them red zone roulette style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you can't let that speed get over the top and let Gabriel lay it out there. They have had red zone issues at times this year. I thought Gabriel, to kind of put the game away, and by the way, good God, Retzlaff, that was when you see it, it leaves a beautiful drive down the field, and that one's going to hurt.
That's a way for it to end, all right.
All right. I thought that the scramble where Gabriel slides in the pocket, sees the opening, gets out to the right, like that was beautiful, man. Like really nice job of moving in the pocket. But I do think the teams are going to basically try to compress it and see if he can win in the red zone, because he's not a big guy. Like was he like 5'10" maybe? You know, like he's tiny.
Yes.
If you see him in person.
I mean, we remember him in a white suit at Big Ten Media Day.
Yeah.
Got a lot of attention.
It's like, excuse me, little boy, have you seen Dylan Gabriel?
Shorter than all three of us.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
like standing next to him.
So, still looks like a really good damn team to me, man. I don't know if they're quite as good as some of the teams, like from a power rating standpoint, but they're not far off. Like they're not catching, 10 for anybody, or probably even 7. Like they got a lot of high level players on that team. I thought they covered the heck out of Wisconsin too.
Yes. I mean, Locke finished with 96 yards and 43 of them came on the one pass.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't do anything.
They can cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.